House Judiciary Committee. Good to see you, Congressman. Thank you very much for being here. What do you think about the Rod Rosenstein situation? Do you think he's there? How much longer do you think he's there? Or do you think he should be fired? Or do you think he should leave on his own?
Well, no matter what the president does, Martha, the Congress has an obligation to exercise our oversight role. Rod Rosenstein needs to be in the witness chair this week to explain the circumstances of this discussion. Let's take Ed Henry's report in the light most favorable to Rod Rosenstein, that he was sarcastically joking about wearing a wire on the president. That is an inappropriate thing to do when you've got subordinates and colleagues at the Department of Justice in your presence. That's the ecosystem that allows this type of nefarious activity to occur in an administration. Any member of Congress can call up Rosenstein's impeachment, and it must be voted on within 2 days. If we don't have Rosenstein in the witness chair, Mark Meadows and I are prepared to do just that and keep the Congress in town to do its oversight work.
Yeah, so you said on Friday, I believe, that you felt that an investigation needed to be undertaken into this, and there was some speculation that the reason that Rod Rosenstein might have decided to throw in the towel is that he doesn't want to go through that process. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I know that Rod Rosenstein has been very evasive in answering questions to the Judiciary Committee. An appropriate context here, Martha, is this is the same Rod Rosenstein that signed the FISA warrant. It's the same Rod Rosenstein that hired Robert Mueller the day after Donald Trump told Mueller he wasn't going to be the FBI director, and the same Rod Rosenstein that has withheld documents from Congress. So this isn't someone that has got a great reputation with the Judiciary Committee at this time, and I just think we got to know what happened under oath so that it's not just speculation. And if he joked about these things, I just don't think it's appropriate for him to continue in his job.
Do you think those things that you mentioned, because it's long been discussed that there's a conflict here, because he is also a witness in this investigation, are there reasons, substantive reasons, that are now being discussed more seriously than they were before that would say that it simply isn't right for him to be overseeing this investigation when he's a potential witness?
You're right that there is a cumulative effect to the bias and conflict that we see in Rod Rosenstein, whether it's the fact that he wrote the memo authorizing the firing of James Comey, which could potentially be very important evidence in an obstruction of justice case, or whether he's the person that defines the four corners of the Mueller probe while he signed the FISA warrant to allow collection of information on the Trump campaign. So those two circumstances provide that context, but this seems to be even more grave. If people are sitting around at Justice joking about undermining the office of the presidency, that's very different than what Jim Mattis described at DOD, where he said if anyone was discussing this type of thing, they would immediately be fired. We need that same standard across the entire federal government.
Well, let me ask you this. Take the temperature of how you see the White House reaction to this and the discussion of, well, it's going to wait till Thursday and then the president will meet with him, and whether or not it makes political sense for the president to move on this now or to maybe avoid the issue for the moment and wait until after the midterm elections. Politically, how do you read it?
I think the president has excellent political instincts, and I also think that it's very inappropriate for us to act based solely on Andrew McCabe's assertions, because as Republicans we've called McCabe a liar, rightfully, repeatedly. So you can't just pick the things about McCabe that you think are honest and then discard those that you think are dishonest. So politically speaking, I don't know. I just know this is a bold president that doesn't think about the next election. He thinks about what's right and wrong. And I would be surprised if Rod Rosenstein made it to the midterms. I really would, because I don't know how you can allow someone to continue if you fear they're even joking about trying to destabilize an administration that's working so hard.
John Brennan was tweeting again, and here's what he said. Any attempt by the White House to subvert or manipulate law enforcement should be resisted. Rather than resigning, officials should stand their ground and wait to be fired. Resisting abuse of presidential authority is not a policy difference. It is about adhering to the rule of law. Your thoughts? Yeah,
you have to reject the premise of Brennan's tweet. No one here was protecting the country. There was no argument by Rosenstein that the president was being destabilizing. He was apparently joking about wiretapping him. And so I think that there's no predicate event that would justify such a tweet from Brennan. But Brennan has really moved from being an intelligence official to being a political hack, doing everything he can to try to make the country turn on Donald Trump. I don't think that he's really viewed with the same degree of objectivity that he was when he was serving in the Obama administration. He's sort of gone off the deep end.
Congressman Gaetz, thank you.